How would I start from scratch growing a business on Facebook, even if I had no friends and no followers? Well, because Facebook encourages community and relationships, I would get very clear on that one person that I really wanted to talk to every day, that person that I wanted to work with every day, the person who actually had the problem that I wanted to solve. You know, in the beginning, I was very unclear on this. It was so hard for me because I actually was looking for a target audience that would fit into what I thought would sell the most, right? I was focusing on selling instead of building relationships. And so once I would get very clear on who that person is, then number two, I would go into Facebook groups, find influencers that had the audience that I was looking for. And I would get into those communities and I would build relationships and I would make connections. And then I would create, if I haven't already, a Facebook group that I can invite them to, bring them into my community, offer support, pour in value, and that way I can nourish those relationships. And then number three, the third thing I would do in starting from scratch is creating content that actually speaks the language that my target audience wanted and needed to hear from me in order for me to help them solve their problems. And that you can find that. I would use tools like Answer the Public, TubeBuddy, Google, and finding the words that they're actually saying. And then I would create content, engaging content that would pique their interest and have them leaning in towards me. So that when I made offers to come into my Facebook group, come into my community, then they would be more open and be able to receive the value that I'm going to give them. And number four, last but not least, creating engaging content, being consistent can be overwhelming, especially in the beginning. I know it used to overwhelm me, the idea that I had to create something every day. And then I would miss a few days and then I feel like I was starting all over. And so when I found tools that would help me with scheduling, such as Metricool, which is what I use now, it's saved me so much time. And I was able to create content, put it in the Metricool system and let it automatically feed into Facebook. Then what I found was it offered me time freedom. It's less overwhelming. And so if that's something you might want to check out, check the link below and see if it's a fit for you. But number four is probably the most important thing that I would start right away if I was starting a business from scratch on Facebook. And that is your number one asset, and that is your emails, your newsletter. Because if social media shut down, you would still have contact with your clients, your customers, your business partners. And so by growing that number one tool, and I would use content. I would immediately start like the day one. I would start, once I find out who my target audience is, and once I started getting in Facebook communities, I would start inviting people to my newsletter. When I created my own Facebook group, I'd put a question in there that would offer them a invitation to my newsletter if they leave their email, and everything would be pointing to growing that list. And in the beginning, a lot of times, or even now, sometimes it's kind of be overwhelming. It's like, what am I going to write about today, right? So now we have the tools, the AI tools that can literally put the information that you want to, the highlights of what you want to talk about, and the AI can write the newsletter for you. You can even put in, you want a friendly and casual voice so it sounds more like you. So as a recap, if I was to grow from scratch a business on Facebook, I would get very clear on my target audience, that person that I want to spend time with every day, that I want to work with, that person that actually has a problem that I want to solve, right? Number two would be the Facebook groups and the influencers that have the audience that I'm looking for. And then I would also grow my own Facebook group for a place to connect and grow that community. And number three is create engaging content using tools like TubeBuddy and Answer the Public and Google to find the exact wording that my audience is using. And then I would create content using those words so that I could speak to my audience in such a way so they would be open to hearing the solutions I have for the problems they're struggling with. And then And number 4, in conclusion, would be the number 1 asset is growing your email newsletter community that you can pour value into, and they're already warm. They've already said yes to you once or twice, maybe even have purchased from you already, and that are going to be open to you offering solutions. So make sure you subscribe and also click the bell to all so you never miss another video.